Oh, my model isn't here. I'm just invisible, apparently. Let me see what's on here and then I'll... Literally nothing. Maybe not nothing. Okay, let me open mod view. Mod view. Okay, let me open mod view. There you go. Right. Profile. Edit profile. Shit, I've got to get that thing. There should be an option that you can put next. I suppose Twitter isn't made for it, but there should be an option that you can just like set something. What? Retry? What are you talking about? Twitter? There you go, and then change this to my live profile picture thingamay, is it? Right, let's get my laptop. First of all, where is VC? Open VC. I've got to wake up the Shizu, and then I'll have to reset this in a second. I can't walk. Very much. BB. Don't need to be there. Mod view. Oh god. Actually, I can do this all from my computer. You should give me a shout out to 79 viewers. Angry Malaysia Kid followed me. Dang. I'm getting more of a... As soon as someone's following me, hold on, let me just reset my bitch. There you go, good. I need to change this, if I'm streaming at 720, then I need it to be at, no, hold on, latest. Latest, follower. Angry Malaysia Kid. God, I hope I spelled that right. There we go. Everything's ready. Oh, the model's broken again. Hold on, let me just get a nice neutral. A good neutral. That'll probably be fine. Right, I don't know how the hell I'm going to do this. Let me get publisher up. So I think this is probably the best way to do this. We're going to publish. Damn you. A4. Okay, let's have this over here. A Twitch. Boy, maybe it will just. Yep, there you go. Perfect. It knows what I want. It knows what I want. Okay. Put this here. Put this here. Might just be able to do it on this middle monitor, but I don't think so. If I just have it on here. Suppose if I'm going to run it off this, then I'm going to also need to use this. Copy, paste, make it visible, make it larger, ungroup. Wouldn't it be cool if I could transform the size of both of these in at the same time? It would, but I can't. Disappointment. Too much. That'll do. Okay, follow account 91, and this is... There you go. Right. Alright. She's left. No, that's not the words, is it? She's left. You're... I don't fucking know. It's an Elvis song. I can't probably be expected to know the lyrics. Let's, Now live chatting about... Hold on. Let's put it there. Now live chatting about what of the Lich King cards. Then overlays. Then molding, if there's time. Join me at twitch.tv/ShizusWorld91. There. Now everybody knows I'm live. Mod view. Look. And then close. I don't think I need any of that. I'm not in. Yeah, there's no real reason for that to be up. And then drag this slightly across. Oh, my eye. Right, how do I do this? Because basically what I need to do is a tier list system. Which probably means I need to... Hold on. Let's drag these all off this screen. Yeah, I've got them sorted by class. And then the top right is neutrals. Can I have this in dark mode? Let me see. Is there a way to do that? How to use Microsoft Office 2016 in dark mode. Click account in the bottom of the file menu. Dark mode. There you go. I haven't even activated it yet. I do mean to do that eventually. I still have my my registration key for it. I just need to activate the damn thing. Right. So what I need to do, I'm gonna have let's have some boxes, and what I want is them to be the same size. Oops, that's probably one too many. And then we will also have one that is we'll also actually have a fifth one, which will be my trash can pile, which is just cards that I don't imagine are going to be any good and basically don't stand a chance of being any good. Hold on. Hi, program, where the fuck's my snapping? Change snapping Office 2016. Click on the shape or other object, shape formats. No. How do I turn off snapping? Hi there, I see you're designing in Publisher. I am indeed. It's this is going to be for my chat about the March of the Lich King cards, and then afterwards I'm going to be doing my new overlays, because the one I've got here, hold on, this one is, the resolution is awful and I'm not a fan of that, so I'm going to try making it a new one instead. Please come back, thank you. I'm just trying to work off formats. No. Align? No. Oh, hold on, align. Relative. Nope. How to snap? Oh, fuck off. That's useless. That's just straight up useless. I have to make 4 boxes and just sort of hope they're the right sizes. Because usually what it does is it will, like, there'll be a line that goes down the middle that tells you it's, like, dead center. Like, you see where it's doing that right now, where it's showing me that that's in line with the other box. I suppose it might only do it if it's within the... No, it doesn't even do it if it's within the margins. Brilliant. So something's clearly broken, or a setting needs to be changed. All of these 4... Nope, I've done that wrong. This. Fuck. Smaller. This might now be too small. It'll be fine, I'm sure. And align that to those ones. Snap. Snap. I don't mind it taking a bit of extra time, as long as the end result looks good. This will probably be going up on YouTube, so like presentation, well, some parts of it will be going up on YouTube, so presentation is key. Well, key. So if I move them all over there, bring this in. That's probably fine if I just make these two slightly longer. There you go. And then this is my trash can. This is the where cards I think are trash are going to go. Just got to make up some labels. Insert word. Fuck off. Insert word art. Right, we're going to use Magnet. Forgot you can't do that in this program. We're going to use Magneto font. It's not installed. Okay, I'll use Matura then. Alright, so we're going to have meta defining, which means like they're going to be they're cards that are so powerful that effectively the meta will be like based around having these cards. Let's make the trash one because that's quick. Trash. There you go. Cards that are going to be so bad that they're probably never even going to see play outside of like extreme like just like people who need a 40th card for their deck effectively. Then we'll go with we'll just like do objectively bad, like cards that have got prices that are too high for what their stats are or what their ability does. Oh, there's Magneto, but no, we're using Matura now, so that's objectively bad. See, look, it's snapping there. That's what that's meant to do. It just didn't want to have any of it before for no reason. Alright, we're going to have a section for blatant power creep. So this is for cards that are very literally just better versions of cards that already exist. And that's going to go down here in sort of the gimmick section. So the top ones, I'll just do... So the top two are going to be like for objectively good cards, or objectively or subjectively good cards. Whereas the bottom two are going to be like bad. Oh, actually, maybe I should have another section. Let's do objectively good. And then what I want to do is also have a section just for cards that I would build a deck around, like stuff I could use for gimmicks. So that would be interesting. Let's go there. Right, so we've got those. And then, is there enough room for another one? Probably. Let's move these. If I copy paste this, and then move that all over. And here. Excellent. Kind of. Okay, we're going to take that away, so I've got a little extra room to work with. Hide ribbon temporarily, so I've got more room. Alright, that's probably good. That's a good start, I'd say. Minimize this, open this, come here. Okay. Right, so now really up here. Right. Right, we'll start with oh, I didn't sort these by class. Hold on. So Warlock is second last. This is Paladin, Shaman. Right, so Warrior is last. Oh, I lost one. Okay, so it goes backwards. Warlock, Warrior, Warlock. Hold on, where's my deck tracker? So that'll tell me which way it goes. I know I've got some kind of notification on Discord. Oh, okay, there's some other server. Come on, open. There are probably far easier ways to have done this. I bet it's open now. No, it's still opening. I regret this decision. Right, let's go here. Libraries. Fuck you, program. Continue. Right, so we've got Warrior, Warlock, Shaman, which was this list. Which was this line. And I've done that again. let's move these up. Rogue. Nope, that's Mage. That's Druid. That one is Rogue. Says those. And I've done it. Fuck. Why do I always end up cutting off the last card? Okay, what's after that? Then we've got Priest. That's this row, isn't it? Yep. Priest. And then Paladin. And then Mage, which is this one. Yes. And then Hunter, which is top row. Yep. My wrist is not feeling good right now. What the shit? Right, then we've got Demon Hunter and Druid, but also now there's a Death Knight. So Demon, so that is first alphabetically. So okay, we've got that, and then we've got close that. Right, so on the other screen, which I will display capture, display capture, display capture, display capture. There you go. Add existing monitor 1. There you go. So now so we've now got Death Knight, Demon Hunter, Druid, Hunter, Mage, Paladin, Priest, Shaman, Rogue, Shaman, Warlock, Warrior, Warlock, and then these are all the neutrals. And I'm going to go through all of these cards, which is how many cards? 145, and just basically provide my opinion on what I think about them. I'll have to do a YouTube opening, sadly, so I'm going to get hydrated for that. Okay. You know what, let's just get into it. Right, so we have 6 different sections here. We have... Oh, I didn't change this. Damn it. Actually, I'll call this one Gimmick Potential. Okay. Right. Now, let's just get into this. So we have all of the cards from March of the Lich King on my desktop now, and we're going to go through this, through all 145 of them, and I'm going to rank them in this really weird setup I've got. We've got meta defining, which means that the cards will be probably game breaking or just powerful enough that decks will be built around them. We've got objectively good, which are cards that are well statted or have really powerful abilities. We have blatant power creep, which is for cards that are just literally better versions of already existing cards. We have objectively bad, which is the opposite of objectively good, of course, which is where we have stuff that is undercosted. Oh fuck, I've done it again. Hold on. Let me get music, background music for it, because I'll put this one on. This was good. Right, that'll be fine, probably. Making YouTube videos sucks. Okay, we'll just jump right in. We have third attempt. It'll be fine, I promise. We have a setup here for all of the cards from March of the Lich King. I have all 145 cards in image file on my desktop, and I've made this horrible grid that will explain where I'm putting things. So we have meta defining, which is the cards are going to be so powerful that like you either have to own them or decks will be completely built around them. We have objectively good, which is cards that are either well statted for their mana cost or have really good abilities. We have blatant power creep, which is stuff like better versions of cards that already exist, and we have objectively bad, which is cards that are either badly costed for their stats or they have generally shit abilities. I've also added 2 other sections here. We have gimmick potentials. For anybody who's been watching me long enough, you know that I love my gimmick decks, like stuff that is just based around a central theme, like my totems, for example. And trash is for cards that are literally so bad, I highly doubt they will ever see play. I'm doing this video live on stream, and then I'll be porting it over to YouTube later on. So, welcome, and I hope you enjoy. Nathan the Marine, trash is the worst. It is indeed. It is my way of explaining that, like, I could have a... I could import a graphic of a... let me grab a trash can. Trash can, what is it called? Clip art. There you go. That looks hideous. Can I have one that's not shit res, please? Let's go with this. This looks fine. Copy image. Paste. There you go. So yeah, this one is for trash. Let me, where's my ribbon? Do I have my ribbon back? I need... Don't know how to get my ribbon back. Whatever. I'm just going to just do transparency on it. Format. Right. Recolor. Set transparent. There you go. Now it looks worse, but then again, that is a trash pile, so it makes sense. Who wants my attention? Anyway. Right, so we've got them in class, alphabetical order, and we're going to start with the new Death Knight cards. Obviously there is the sets that come with the bundles that give you 3 Death Knight decks. These are just the standalone ones that you can get from the packs. So we're starting with Alexandros Morgraine, a 7 mana 7/7. That's already a pretty good stat line. Battlecry: for the rest of the game, deal 3 damage to your opponent at the end of your turns. That's a Battlecry. I saw a comment thread on Twitter from Zeddy talking about how this could be combined with like possible Bran Bronzebeard combination, given that I think Bran is a 3-drop, so that's at the end of your turn deal 6 damage to your opponent's face. This card is stupidly overpowered, and it has the tag of Undead, which, as we'll see shortly, is going to be a really, really big deal in this expansion. So we're going to bring this here. Okay, I didn't take into consideration the size of the cards, but it's going to be meta defining. There will 100% be decks based around Alexandros Morgraine, and if there are not, you can shoot me. But please don't, because, you know, that would suck. Right, what's next? We have the 8 mana 5/5 epic card, Soul Stealer. Battlecry: destroy all other minions, gain 1 corpse for each enemy destroyed. I haven't read much about the corpse mechanics, so let's take a quick look into that. Corpse. Hearthstone. Corpses are a special secondary resource used by Death Knight class. Each time a friendly minion dies while playing as a Death Knight, the corpse counter under the mana crystals is increased by 1. Corpses in the counter can then be spent by cards with corpse synergies. This mechanic and cards that reference it are exclusive to the Death Knight class. Yes, meta defining is literally the best a card can be for this expansion. Or like the next, however long until the next expansion comes out. It'll be like Sire Denathrius right now, whereas if you're not running Sire Denathrius, you're at an immediate disadvantage. Or Renathal, which is also one of those cards, if you're not running it, you're just at immediate disadvantage. I think Renathal is easily a better example of this, considering that it means you start with 40 cards in your deck, so you've got 10 more cards, and you also start with 10 additional health. When your starting pool is usually 30 health, and you can, a lot of combinations are based around dealing 30 to 0. Being able to have Renathal in your deck as a starting option that puts you on 40 at the start of the game makes it a lot more difficult for those to happen, which is obviously good because it means combo decks can get fucked. Right, so now we know what corpses are. Is 3 mana... Oh, it's destroy all other minions. This is literally a Twisting Nether, but it leaves you with a 5/5 on the board. Like, on average, you're going to be looking down... Bloody hell. I thought this was just like an arcane explosion, like it just did 1 damage. It doesn't, it's an actual field nuke. This thing is fucking insane. So Twisting Nevers leaves you with a 5/5, doesn't cost you all of your mana in one turn, and you also gain resources for doing that. I think this card is broken. I don't think it. I wouldn't say it's going to be meta defining because there's no evidence to say that Death Knight specifically is going to be a hero class. But I will say blatant power creep since Twisting Nether exists. So Twisting Nether is an 8 mana Warlock spell that wipes the board. This is an 8 mana. This is literally the same thing, except for the fact that it also leaves you with a 5/5 and gives you other shit as well. So that is extremely powerful. Right. Next up is the 8 mana Rare Bone Guard Commander, and it's an 8/8. So again, very aggressively statted. It also has Taunt. Battlecry, raise up to 6 corpses as 1/2 risen footmen with taunts. So this is a Floodjaw board with taunts. I believe Spreading Plague is the closest thing that you can really compare this to, unless you want to go with Kel'Thuzad the Inevitable, which summons a shitload of the broken skeleton things that deal 2 damage when they die. But these are all taunts. So this is a really good late game card if you're in a shit position. I don't think this is going to be as good as the other two we've seen so far, because holy fuck, those are powerful. I think it will be used, maybe, but it's not something I would say is 100% a guaranteed add-in for any add-in deck. Simply because it feels like one of those cards that you play when you're in a shit position, and that it won't help because by the time you play it, you're already in that position. I think this is going to be in objectively bad. Maybe I shouldn't have ranked things like this. Actually, I suppose it's fine. Right, we have the Demon Hunter weapon Soulbreaker, 3 mana, 3/2. After hero attacks and kills a minion, gains 2 corpses. I'd say this is balanced. So, for comparison, we have Fiery War Axe, which is a 3 mana, 3/2 warrior weapon in a class that is has a lot of weapon synergy. The 3 attack stat isn't really that powerful. I would have said if they wanted to make this a hero card, or anything above a common, to be fair, they would probably have made it a 3 mana 4/2. But you also do have to kill something with it to get the bonus from it. So I think this is good, but it's not. Hold on, can I just put balanced here instead? Yeah, balanced. That's the thing, is you need way more tiers than this if you're going to do this kind of thing. I should have maybe taken more time to consider it. But yeah, I'd say this card is insanely balanced. It's not too overpowered for what it does. Yeah, you get 2 corpses, but you have to take damage to your face, and you have to be able to kill something that has 3 health anyway. And if, on turn 3, you might be able to do this, but if you draw it late game, it's probably not as good. The sad thing is that a lot of cards that are balanced would also be semi-equatable with trash, because with power creep, you always end up getting cards that are so powerful that if you print anything that's even remotely balanced, it just won't see play, because it'll be classified as bad instead. Right, next we have the 2 mana 2/3 Necrotic Mortician, which is also a common. Friendly undead died after your last turn, discover an Unholy Rune card. Let's take a look at what Unholy Rune cards are. Unholy Rune. Okay, so we get it's a rune of some description. Come over here. Don't be shy. Unholy is one of these runes seen in Death Knight cards and deck building. For more general... So, how do you use them exactly? How do you... I can't see... I'm guessing this is a whole mechanic that I just don't understand. Death Knight cards, let me see. Oh, hold on, runes. Right, runes are a special feature found only on Death Knight cards and deck building. There are 3 types of rune, Blood, Frost, and Unholy. The list of cards don't need that. Right, while creating a deck, Death Knights must choose any combination of the 3 runes, Blood, Frost and Unholy. That choice of runes will determine what cards they can put in their deck. Some Death Knight cards have a rune indicator under their mana cost, which is yes. These cards can only be put in the deck if that amount of runes while building a deck is at least... Okay, so... Oh, it discovers a card with this. Okay. Right, that makes sense. That's actually useful then. So it's if a friendly Death Rattle died during your if a friendly undead died during your opponent's turn, then you can play this, discover another card with Unholy. Okay. I don't think that's bad. I think it's just balanced. Like, there's nothing inherently good about it, but there's nothing inherently bad about it either. For what it does, this reminds me of a lot of the Cthulhu cards, which buffed Cthulhu wherever it was, even like including in your deck. And like, they all do that, but they also all have like really good stat lines. So it was really hard to say that any of them were bad as such. Right, Blight Fang, 3 mana legendary with 3/3 stats. Infect all enemy minions. When they die, you summon a 2/2 zombie with taunt. Right, what is infect? Learning a lot of new things today. So we're gonna go Blight Fang. Search all results for Blight Fang. Boing. Right. What is infect? It doesn't. Oh no, it's okay. So infect is literally just give all of them a death rattle that does this thing. It's just worded strangely. So, I mean, that's really powerful because obviously you want things to die. So then you can get your corpse tokens or counters or whatever they are. So obvious, and like them dying and then giving you a 2/2 zombie with taunt, which will have to die so they can continue beating your face in, is obviously a really good way to gather up a lot of those counters. Looking into how corpse or whatever the tokens are is going to be important for later on, I believe. But for now, I'd say this is... I mean, so how close is this? The closest thing to this is like Corruption, which is a 1 mana warlock spell that kills a minion at the end of next turn. There's also stuff that like blows up. What's the Gar one? There's one that gives a minion an effect where it will blow up and deal damage to everything. That's very similar to this. This is a legendary as well, so I think that's quite a high. I'd say this won't be meta-defining. I'd say it's objectively good though. Like, obviously, it gives you resources that you need, while also being because like the ability to give your opponent's minions that death rattle. I mean, you could equate it to something like the totem one, or you know, composting or something where you draw a card whenever that minion dies. There are a lot of things you could compare it very loosely to, but I don't think there's anything you can compare it directly to. Right, 3 mana, 3/4, Meat Grinder Epic. Battlecry, shred a random minion in your deck to gain 3 corpses. So I'm guessing that what it means by shred is it takes a minion from your deck and removes it from the game without triggering a death rattle. To gain 3, I think this card is trash, straight up. The problem with it is it's random. If it was Discover, especially considering it's an epic, but if it was Discover a minion in your deck to shred and gain 3 corpses, I think this would be a lot better. But with it being random, I don't think this is that good, because you could either hit a 1-drop in your deck that wasn't going to help you anyway, or you could shred literally you could shred your Alexandros. You know what I mean? Like, you could lose literally the best card in your deck and the reason your deck exists. So I'm going to say this card is objectively trash. Like, I don't mind a bit of RNG, but that's a horrendous amount of RNG to have to deal with. Right, 3 mana, 3/4, Acolyte of Death, common. After a friendly undead dies, draw a card. Okay, there have been so many cards that do this exact same thing over the course of the game. I'd say this is... Would this be blatant power creep? I don't know, I think Starving Buzzer got nerfed to the point where now it's whenever you play a minion. After a friendly undead dies, obviously the minion has to be an undead, so it wouldn't. This itself wouldn't trigger, like, and also neither would this piece of shit, because that's a mech. I'd say this is actually balanced. Like, obviously every zombie you summon will also be an undead, so there's a good chance there could be some combo that makes this broken. But I'm gonna just go with balanced here because it seems like obviously there are requirements to be met, and even then card draw is like it could be more, but I think this is just one of those. It's just a generally balanced card. It's fine. Right, what's next? Come on, open. Thank you. Vampiric Blood, 2 mana rare. Interesting. Give your hero +5 health. Spend 3 corpses to gain 5 more and draw health. So does this restore health, or does this actually give you more health? Like there is a thing going around about how they really need to remove Prince Renathal before the next expansion drops, because, and I think this might have something to do with it. Like if this is actually physically give 10 health basically, then you'd have 50 health with Renathal. But saying that, I mean, this obviously isn't an early game card. Also, does it give it any heal? Because there are cards that give health to things. Not in this, I don't think. I don't think there is a Hearthstone card that specifically does this. But there are examples of things where it like gives you the health, but like it doesn't heal you to that amount. So it's like so if you've got like an injured Blade Master, for example, which is I believe a 4 mana 3/7 or a 3 mana 4/7, but it deals 4 damage to itself on summon, and then you give it 2 more health, then you still have a 4/3 because you haven't healed off that damage. That's still just your base amount of damage. And also that doesn't look optional. So if you've got 3 corpses, it looks like you have to spend them to gain 10 and draw a card. I don't know, this could be interesting, but I can't see a lot of potential in it just now, is what I'll say. Do I put it in balanced? Yeah, I think I'd say balanced. Actually, I think this could go in here, but it's highly dependent on what it actually does compared to what I'm reading, because I'm only applying a very basic amount of common sense to it rather than what I probably could be. Right, Corpse Explosion. 5 mana, rare. Detonate a corpse to deal 1 damage to all minions if they are still alive. Repeat this. This is blatant power creep, or even though technically it's not. Actually, this is literally worse than Defile. So there is I think it's 2 mana spell. We're going to look up Defile. Right, so Defile is a 2 mana spell. Deal 1 damage to all minions if any die, cast it again. Right, so if you've got a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on board, then it will kill all of them because it will slowly ramp up the amount of damage that's being dealt by Defile doing its own thing. So this is blatantly worse than that so far, and you have to detonate a corpse, which either means... I'm guessing that's spending the resource. And if any are still alive, repeat it. How many times does it repeat that, though? Like, will it just repeat it indefinitely? It doesn't specify. I'm going to put this in... I think I'm going to put this in trash. Like, while Death Knight definitely doesn't have its own Defile yet, I think for 5 mana, this isn't that interesting. Although saying that, let me see. How does Corpse Explosion work? Corpse Explosion is a Death Knight card. No, it doesn't say anything. These don't help. Thanks, Google. Yeah, I think I'm going to put this in trash. The problem is there's not enough information on what it does and how it works for me to say whether or not it's actually any good. Because right now it just looks like a 5 mana defile, but there's a chance that it's not. There's a chance that it's not terrible, but we don't know because there is no way to like judge it in any other way. Okay, let's go on to Demon Hunter. First card, 9 mana, 9/9, Brutal Annihilation. Epic. Taunt Rush. After this minion survives damage, deal that amount to the enemy hero. Okay, well this is interesting because it's very similar to something like Rampaging. A Hunter card. There's a Hunter card that when it deals damage, it deals the overkill damage to the face, I think it is, or Knuckles. There are a couple of cards that does what this does. I would call this blatant power creep, just because it's a 9 mana 9/9. Right, so you can probably cheat this out or reduce its cost, but it's probably gonna survive the damage. Just throwing it out there, because there aren't really a lot of minions in the game that are bigger than a 9/9. I think you can probably count them on 2 hands. Right, most things, the biggest average thing you will see is an 8/8 or an overpowered mutinous, like if you had something big in your hand and it ate it. But also dealing, so you could hit a Molten Giant with this, take 8 damage, and then your opponent takes 8 damage in the face. And you're still sitting on a 9/1 that will hit again. Like, because obviously they have to hit this. So yeah, that's, oh no. So yeah, you could hit a 9/8 with it, and then it would die, but you've still, you know, kept a minion off your face for a turn, and hit your opponent in your face for 8. I'm gonna say this is really fucking powerful. Would I say it will define the Demon Hunter deck? Is it a demon? It is a demon. Okay, so there is also synergy to take into consideration here. You'll never be able to get this off Philosophy, but I'm going to say it was subjectively a very good card. Like, that is dangerously powerful for Demon Hunter, an already fairly aggressive class. Okay, Unleash Fell, 1 mana. Deal 1 damage to all enemies, mana first 4, and you gain lifesteal on it. So I believe there is a Priest card that does this exact same thing, except it costs way more. Which is, it deals 1 damage to everything, Spirit Lash. I believe, how much does that cost? Spirit Lash. Okay, so let's move that over here. Right, so Spirit Lash is a 2 mana that deals 1 damage to all minions, and yet it has lifesteal on it. So assuming exactly the same scenario, this is better. However, saying that, this one does have, I don't know how I feel about Mana Thirst, to be honest. Like, Mana Thirst is, so basically, from what I understand, is if you have 4 mana crystals when you cast this, so you can't cast this on turn 1, 2 or 3, then it will also have lifesteal on it. Actually, no, this is far more than objectively worse than Spirit Lash, because it only deals the damage to the enemies. So it also does hit face, but that's objectively really, really bad. I've got hiccups on. Oh god, and I'm going to sneeze really at the same time. There you go. Right. Hydrate, you bastard. Now I'm going to say this is objectively really, really crap, because Spirit Lash is literally better than it in almost every circumstance I can think of. I finally finished installing all the drivers on Windows XP, and I even got it all set for its new job. Just have to install Elimination Station and Instant Shell at the Sheller. Sounds good. Next card is a 4 mana Felderai Warband, common. Deal 4 damage. If your deck has no minions, summon 4/1/1 Illidari with Rush. No. I think this card is just trash. Straight up trash. For the reason of, Warlock is a very aggressive class, and as a result it relies on its minions. You can't, to the best of my knowledge, run a deck that entirely works on using your face to like face checking stuff, but at the same time summoning 4 Illidari with Rush. What's Command the Illidari? I think that's, how much is that? Command the Illidari. Let's see how it stacks up with a card they already have. 5 mana, summon 6. So this one is immediately better. Hold on, let me see if there is a... There is another card that does something very similar to this. Rush generating? Why did I do this? Demon Hunter. Okay, I can't see it because it's split between screens. Coordinated Strike, there you go. 3/3 for 3 Illidari with Rush. This is 4 for 4 with Rush, but you also deal 4 damage first. But only if your deck has no minions, which you don't really want to do. So you, Illidari Warband, Felderai Warband, are going in the trash. Right. Mark of Scorn, 2 mana common. Draw a card. If it's not a minion, deal 3 damage to the lowest health enemy. I guess this is playing into this whole thing with the last card as well. I mean, worst case scenario, this is a 2 mana draw 1, which isn't that bad, I suppose. I mean, 2 mana generally draws you 1, 3 mana generally draws you 2. On average, I'd say. Like, you gotta look at this effectively as take away all the rest of that text and it's just the Warlock hero power, but it doesn't cost you health as well. With the additional bonus of dealing 3 damage. No, I don't think this is good. I think this is also trash. Because that damage is dealt to the lowest health enemy, which isn't going to be a game finisher. It's not going to do anything useful. It's going to kill a minion that you're already able to kill. Soul Eater's Scythe, a 4 mana legendary weapon. Start of game, consume 3 different minions in your deck, leave behind souls that discover them. So I'm going to guess that these souls are cast when drawn spells that go into your deck once you've consumed your minions. When you draw them, oh no. Okay, hold on. So yeah, it is a cast when drawn, almost guaranteed. And it just shows you the 3 cards that were consumed by Soul Eater's Scythe, and then you get to choose from those 3 which one you want to add to your hand. I believe this is actually amazing. I honestly think, I can honestly see entire Demon Hunter strategies being built around this card, just because of how good that is. And its stat line is really, really good as well. Like, I would say 3 mana is better for a 4/2 weapon, but 4 mana isn't, like, excessively offensive. So I'm going to put that into meta defining, because I honestly believe this card will define a variant of Demon Hunter, just not really sure which ones yet. Okay, next up, 1 mana 2/1 Fierce Outsider with Rush. Okay, this is just overpowered as fuck, basically. Like, an objectively good card. So you got to look at this as it's a 1 mana deal 2 damage to a minion. And also it has, if you have Outcast, your next Outcast card costs 1 less. Outcast is a Demon Hunter ability exclusive to their class where the left and rightmost cards on your hand, if they have an Outcast ability, then it will also do that. For example, the best case is Skull of Gul'dan, which is just to draw 3 cards for 6, but also if it's Outcast, so if it's on the left or right, those 3 cards you drew cost 3 less. I can't see this card being like having a tech built around it, but at the same time this card is unbelievably powerful for what it is and is going in straight into objectively good. Right. 7 mana Vengeful Walloper. 5/5. Rush, costs 1 less for each outcast card you played this game. Okay, there have been plenty of cards that work this a similar way to this. Like, most recent example I've been using is Gigantotem, which costs 1 less for every totem you've played this game. There's also Arcane Giant, which I use in my Jade Totem deck, Jade Golem deck, which is costs 1 less for each spell you've cost this game. This is very, very fair. I think that's the best way to explain this, is that it starts off at 7, but it's also not a giant, so it's not an 8/8. It does have demon synergy, which is a little scary, but I'm going to say this is objectively a very, very fair and balanced card. A 2-mana, 2/3 Wretched Exile, which is an epic. After you play an Outcast card, add a random Outcast card into your hand. So I'm guessing this is not from cards you have, or, well, I mean, it could be from cards you have, but it's completely random which one you actually get. This is going to be, I feel, a bit like Altruist, where it depends. So Altruist, the Outcast, is whenever you play the left or rightmost card, it deals 1 damage to everything your opponent controls, including their face. I think this will depend entirely on how well you can set up for it. Obviously, you're going to want to play as many low-cost Outcast cards with it as humanly possible to make it to get the best value out of it. Because obviously, you want to cast your Outcast cards and then get them replaced effectively. I think this is going to go into balanced. There's nothing offensive about it. It's a relatively well-designed card. It's just, it requires specific kind of setup to make it really worth playing. Okie dokie. A 4-mana 3/3 legendary, Feller in the Forgotten. Battlecry, add a random Outcast card to left and right cards sides of your hand. They cost 2 less. For a legendary, I can see this being a deck. This is going to be, I don't know, is it going to be built around? I think I'm just going to put this in objectively good. So obviously it's, hold on, I should have locked that in some way. This is obviously, the point of adding them to your left and right side of your hand is that they will trigger Outcast, and it's giving you specifically Outcast cards. Downside, they're random. However, 4-mana 3/3 with that Battlecry, because one of them will go to the left side of your hand, and the left side of your hand is where stuff is never going to get played unless you specifically play it. So I'm going to say this is an objectively good card. The ones on the right, by the way, when you Outcast, so cards on your left, so for example, this guy, are the cards that you started with in your hand, whereas this would be the most recent card you drew. Okay, last Demon Hunter card, 5-mana, deal with a devil, 5-mana rare. Summon 2/3/3 Fell Fiends with lifesteal. If your deck has no minions, summon a 3rd one. This is objectively worse than, there's a card that, let me see. Hunter, Summon Wolf, Secret. Hearthstone. Yeah, Hearthstone. I think it's Secret Hunter. Emerald Spellstone, I'm pretty sure that's the one. Summon 3 wolves for 5. So yeah, this is literally that. There is actually a better version of it, that you summon a wolf and then you summon another one for each secret you control. Aces versus Acer, I'm kind of sorry I even had to say this. Why? Why would you do that in the middle of this? Okay, so Acer is a brand that I have said for a very long time is very literally the Nokia of laptop and computer design, in the sense that they've been around for so long and their parts are so good for value that even if shit breaks, you can replace or you can very cheaply replace it, and you can always find vendors that have Acer parts because they're so well known and there's so much of it. Asus, on the other hand, sell broken shit that doesn't work, and their customer service is so bad that even when you go to them with a specific topic and then provide them with all of the evidence and they check it out, they will still just go, bother somebody else. Asus are a company that really need to work on their customer service if they want to keep customers. I believe they're more generally supporting or purchased from by businesses rather than being consumer level, but at the same time there is a lot of consumer level stuff on the market. Between the two, always go Acer. Team Acer. Ooh. I'm going to put this into objectively, these have lifesteal though. I'm going to put this into objectively bad because it falls into the same category as everything else, which is if you have no minions in your deck. Which means either play it super late game or not at all. Let me move this trash can above everything else. I'm just going to put this on the top layer. I don't know how long that will last. Right, we are now on to Druid. Crypt Keeper. 8 mana for 6 taunt. Cost 1 less for each armor you have. I hate this card because I know exactly what they're going for with it. There are a lot of variants of Druid at the moment that, oh god, that are specifically based around gaining tons of armor and tons of advantage. And there's not really a lot you can do about it, especially considering Guff, the new hero they have. I hate to admit it, but this card is really fucking good. Beetlemonster. You choose one, gain 12 armor, or well, there's the other half of that combo. What was the other one? What? Yep, well, 5 mana. So yeah, for 5 mana you can summon a taunt that's a 4/6 for nothing. Or summon 2/3/2 beetles with taunt, but nobody's ever going to do that unless they're in a really shitty position. How much does Branching Path cost? I need to find something to hate about this card. Branching Paths. It's 4 mana, you gain 12 armor, or draw a card. Okay, I'm just going to put this into Blatant Power Creep. Because while it's only slightly more expensive, it's literally better than a card that already... Actually, no, it's not. Balanced. I hate it, but it's balanced. Right. 2 mana, Chitinous Plating Rare. Gain 4 armor at the start of your next turn, gain 4 more. Why? I mean, it's an interesting concept, but I don't think this will ever see play. Like, if you... what else would you be paying 2 mana for in Druid right now? I can't really think of anything. I mean, it's obviously too powerful for a 2 mana card. 2 mana, gain 8 armor. That's too powerful. That's just objectively too powerful. 7 mana, Underking, epic. Rush, Battlecry, Death Rattle, gain 6 armor. So you gain 6 armor when you play it. So it says, so that gain 6 armor is worth 1 mana on this, because 6/6 for 6 is about right. It also has Rush. This is stupidly overpowered. Let me change this. Blatant Power Creep / overpowered. This guy is overpowered as fuck. Actually, so is this one. Hey son, how's it going? This card is fucking overpowered as shit. 7 mana, on play, gain 6/6. Also, you've got a body that can deal 6 damage to a minion. So that's for perspective, Fireball is a 4 mana spell that does 6 damage. Right, you can choose face, but in this case, this is already reduced to a 4-drop. Because they deal 6 damage to a minion. 6 armor is, how much was Bounding Paths? Another 4. So this is far too low a cost for what it does. I just came back from the front. It was hell. What happened in the front? So yeah, that's just blatantly overpowered as fuck. 8 mana, Anubakan. Blech. 8 mana, 7/7, Battlecry. Gain 8 armor. This turn your minions cost armor instead of mana. This is actually really balanced. If you already have armor, then I can see how it would be. I can see how this is fine. If you don't, then you can really only cast like 1 additional card. But you're casting it from the armor. I'm going to say this card is highly balanced. 1 mana lingering zombie. Death Rattle, summon another zombie. But with Death Rattle, summon another zombie. Nothing. We lost. What did you lose? I think yesterday I found out, yes I can. I can move my eyebrows. Only does it sometimes. So this is a 1 mana 3/3, but it's across 3 different minions. That's stupidly overpowered. Actually, I think this might be trash, but the problem is it also has each of those 1/1s will also have the undead tag, which is kind of a big deal for this set. The battle, of course. Oh, okay. 6 mana, unending swarm, resurrect all friendly minions that cost 2 or less, and it's a common. So, for retrospect, let me show you Mass Resurrection, a priest spell. Right, and bear in mind that priest is the class for resurrection. Summon 3 minions that died this game. So that's 9. This card is also stupidly overpowered. Druid is really getting the high end of this stick. God damn. Come on, give them some shit cards. Balance this out. Wither, 2 mana. Choose a minion. Each friendly undead steals 1 attack and health from it. Again, it's just broken as fuck. Like, if I go to... No, not Twitter. I'll go back here. So we're going to go Shadow Devour? Devour, right? Actually... Yeah, I'll put that in mode power. So Shadow Devour is choose a minion, it steals 1 health from all other minions. Right, 1 health is fine. Because health doesn't matter anywhere near as much as attack. And here we have a card that costs 1 more and it's stealing attack as well. So you got to bear in mind, right, in Hearthstone the equivalent of 1 mana is +1/+1. Right, so if this steals 2 health, then that's fine. That's about right. But it's also stealing attack. So if your opponent has 4 1/1s on the board, you're gaining 4/4 in stats for 2 mana. This is blatantly overpowered. Again, these are just my opinions based on like the shit that I play. Elden Adox, 5 mana, legendary. Destroy a friendly undead, your minions gain its attack. There's balance for you. You lose a minion, you gain a corpse token, whatever, and your minions gain its attack. The only thing is you have to, actually no, I can see some real nasty shenanigans. This is going to be meta defining for Druid in my opinion. How's my night going? My night's going good. Took my good painkillers. I watched my friend stream, and then I laid down for a good long time. And then I had dinner, and now I'm doing this. So, good. This card is going to define an entire Druid deck, in my opinion. You're going to see somebody put down Mischief and Prime, which is a 9/9, and then blow that up with this, so that you can, like, all your other minions gain 9/9. If this wasn't a legendary, I would say it's stupidly overpowered, but it is, so it's meta defining. It will be the defining card in Druid decks. Right, Nerubian Flyer. If a friendly... Let me turn this down slightly more. Or, I'll turn my voice up slightly more. There, that's probably better. Nope, that's not much better. Let me turn this down slightly more. I want that to be lower. I want the fucking music to be low enough that I'm audible. That's probably fine, right? Okay, Nerubian Flyer, 2 mana, 2/3. If a friendly undead died after your last turn, summon a 2/2 Nerubian. So I'm guessing a Nerubian is another undead, but it's a 2/2. So this is a 2 mana for 5, which is... Okay, so we're going to have to go by the vanilla principle here. The vanilla principle is that for a very long time, this was the best card in the entire game, basically, for stat distribution. 4 mana, 4/5. You could get it out early, and it's just got a good stat line. Now you only have to pay 2 mana for that. And it splits it across 2 minions. I'm going to put that in... I'm just going to put in objectively good. Like, it's sad to say it, but 2 mana 4/5 is too powerful for its own good. Okay, Hunter stuff. Silvermoon Fast Strider, 2 mana 2/3. Give all arcane spells in your hand, spell damage +1. I'm not entirely sure how much arcane hunters actually do. It might be enough, but I don't think this will see play. I don't like, even if they do have arcane spells, I don't think they're big enough. Like, I don't think they have something that's like really big enough to validate giving it spell damage +1 without a minion. So yeah, I think this is trash. 4 mana, summon a 4/4 Lynx with Rush, improved by spell damage. So I'm guessing what this means is the same way that Cram Session works, in that it's a spell that's improved by spell damage, but it's a draw spell instead of actually having any damaging effect on it. Which is obvious. It starts out as just draw 1 card, then each spell damage you have improves it by 1 extra card. Again, I can't really see spell damage hunter being a real thing. Saying that, I didn't honestly ever think that mech mage would be a thing. But I think this card is balanced. I just wouldn't say that I wouldn't, or maybe it summons 2 Lynxes, who knows. But I honestly don't think this is a gimmick that's going to work. I think this card on its own is balanced, but that's about as much as I'm willing to give it. 2 mana, Conjured Arrow. Deal 2 damage to a minion, mana first 6, draw that many cards. What? So I'm guessing it's deal 2 damage and then draw 2 cards. But with spell damage, this is just overpowered as fuck. 2 mana, deal 2 damage and draw 2 cards is already too powerful, even on turn 6. If you improve it with spell damage, and it can't, and like, so it's a, like, say, let's say the dream scenario occurs and you've got 7 spell damage +1 minions on the board, or you've randomed to a Mazaki Master Duelist, then you're going to be 2 mana, deal 9 damage, draw 9 cards, and probably overdraw. I think this card is overpowered. Because even just draw 2 cards +2 damage is too good for that amount of mana. Ricochet Shot. Deal 1 damage to 3 random enemies. This is literally Arcane Missiles. Arcane Missiles is deal 1 damage to 3 random targets. Let me bring up Arcane Missiles for anybody who has never played this game. Arcane Missiles. There you go. Deal 3 damage, randomly split among all enemies. This is literally exactly the same thing. So I'm going to say this is balanced because 1 mana is generally 3 damage. You've also got Smite in Priest. But also Arcane Missiles is a real thing. And this isn't better than Arcane Missiles, it's literally the same deal. Okay, Hunter Legendary. Halder on Brightwing. Give all arcane spells in your deck. Again with the spell damage in Hunter. I honestly don't think it's gonna. I don't honestly think I can imagine a meta where this is gonna be the big deal deck. I'm willing to say that this is probably still overpowered because of how much arcane extra spell damage you can give, but I don't think that it's going to be a meta. I don't think Hunter is going to have a place in a meta outside of what they've already got, which is generally, I'm going to put this in objectively good, actually. I don't think it's actually overpowered, because you have to be running a bad deck to make it work. But yeah, just, I don't think Hunter, like, I mean, compare this spell damage thing to Defend the Dwarven Ruin, which is a 30-0 damage in 1 turn thing. Just in the same way Shadow Reaper Anduin was with, what was the deck? Raza Priest. Right, Shock Splitter, deal 1 damage. Improved by your hero attacks this game. So this is balanced. Your hero has to attack enough times that this gets buffed. I think this isn't. I think this probably end up in actually trash. I don't think this will see play because you'd have to run a lot of weapons in order to get the best amount of use out of this. I like it, but I think it's a card that will go in trash. Okie dokie. Hope of Kel'Thuzad, a 6-mana legendary weapon. So we've got 2 legendary weapons so far. After your hero attacks, give your minions +1/1 wherever they are. Okay. That's really fucking powerful. I like this. This is closest I think they'll get to a meta-defining, like, this is about as close as I think they'll get to a card that will define a deck. But I don't think it's going to be a defining factor for the deck. I think that everything else will be a defining factor. This is very much a win more card. Like, if you're already going to win that game, you're already going to win that game. This won't change that. It's just I honestly think it's really good. I like the balance on this. Like, Druid has Embiggen, which is a 0 mana, give everything stats, but also raises the cost. And Paladin has one that gives all your minions 1/1 wherever they are as well. But I honestly think that this is a good card. It's just not powerful enough. If it was given +2/+2, I would put it in meta defining. Sadly, I might. It's hard. I want to put it in balance because it's really balanced, but I just want to give them. I want to give Hunter something here. Keen Eye Spot, a 3-mana 3/4. When your hero attacks a minion, set itself to 1. This is fucking cool, right? Now, this is a passive, so it's not like for the rest of this game kind of effect, but it has the same kind of effect as Libram of Hope. No, not Hope. Okay, Libram of Justice. There you go, the one that wasn't even listed. Right, and this one is equip a 1/4 weapon, change the health of all enemy minions to 1. Right, Paladin has been doing the reduce health to 1 since the very start of the game with equality, which sets all minions' health to 1. This is interesting. I like this a lot. Like, because obviously, like, it's not unbalanced. No matter what your weapon has, because obviously, number one, you still have to face check it, and number two, it only sets it to 1. It's also Hunter's Mark, which I think is a 1-mana spell that does exactly this, but doesn't give you a 3/4. Also, when this dies, that effect goes away. I like this card. I'm going to call it balanced. It's not trash. There is a use case scenario for this card. I just don't know what it is. It's very interesting though. I do like the design of this card. Passive effects are always quite cool. 2-mana 2/2 Scourge Tamer, epic. Battlecry craft of random custom zombies. This is actually no, this is balanced. Because half the zombies you can craft are actually trash. So crafting a zombies is you get 2 choices of 3 minions that are all beasts, and then it stitches their stats and effects together, and then and their costs, and that's what gives you your end result zombies. I'm gonna put this in balanced. I don't think this is going to be meta defining, but I think this is an objectively very good card. Yeah. Okay, Arcane Quiver. Discover a spell from your deck. If it's arcane, give it +1. I like the Discover because it's 2 mana, draw 1, but it's also 2 mana, draw a specific a card from a specific pool of things in your deck. If it's arcane, give it spell damage +1 is just another part of this thing. So I'm going to put this into balanced because 2 mana, draw 1. I'd rather use Ubuntu than Windows 10. I can't say I blame you. So that was last of the Hunter, and we move on to Mage. Vast Wisdom. Discover 2 spells that cost 3 or less, swap their costs. So this is better than Arcane Intellect, which is the classic Mage card that is 3 mana, draw 2. This is blatant power creep. And then it swaps their costs. That's not really going to... I don't think that the swapping costs thing is something that's going to really change the game state. If they cost 3 or less anyway, it won't matter. Welcome back, son. We have Energy Shaper. Transform all spells into your hand into ones that cost 2 more. They keep their original cost. Okay, so for context, in Dark Moon Fair there was a spell called Deck of Chaos. I hope I've got the Mage one. No, I got the Warlock one, of course. Madness at the Dark Moon Fair. I saw some ads. Hooray? Maybe? Is that a good thing or a bad thing? I think you mentioned you've never seen of them. So Mage got this spell, Deck of Lunacy, which has been nerfed into... I think it got nerfed and then it was brought back because it came out a year of the Griffin. Anyway. It transforms all spells into your decks at once that cost 3 more. And they keep their original cost. So this is basically very similar to that. That's interesting, and I think that is the first gimmick card in the same way that Deck of Lunacy was. It's not going to be played in any real decks. It's just an interesting card that you could build something around for a laugh. Prismatic Elemental. I like the name of that. 2 mana, 1/3 epic. Battlecry. Discover a spell from any class. It costs 1 less. Sorry, you got disconnected. That's not a problem at all. I think this is too random to be good. This is going in the trash. The problem is you're looking at an entire pool of spells, and like that's extreme RNG. Considering that Mage is the class that got Summoning Portal a couple of well, that was Goblins vs Gnomes around the time of Naxxramas, like second set ever basically. It was either second set or first expansion, and they got a spell called what is the portal? Hold on, let me... Nope. There's a 2 mana spell that they got a very long time ago. Unstable Portal. There you go. And it just gives you a random minion, reduces its cost by 3. That's basically all this is, but worse. Alright, 9 mana. Oh, hello, Grand Magister Romath. This is one of those nights I keep getting disconnected. Be right back, not a problem. Battlecry, recast each spell you cast this game that didn't start in your deck. Okay, this is going to be meta defining. Simply for the fact of there are things like Magic Trick and Rune Door and stuff that like gives you other spells or generates them from outside of your deck. So being able to recast them, I mean, it's basically actually, let's see how this stacks up to Test Greymane. Test Greymane is a rogue legendary that recasts everything you've cast that wasn't a rogue card, I believe. Replay every card from another class that you played this game. Yeah, so it's basically the same as that, except it costs more. I would say it's under creep, but there's no real word for that, so that's fine. Arc Splitter. Add 2 arcane bolts to your hand. What is an arcane bolt? Do I know what an arcane bolt is? Let me see. It must be a spell. Deal 2 damage, mana thirst, deal 3. Okay. How much does that card cost? 1 mana, deal 2. But if you've got 8 mana, deal 3. No, by the time you've got 8 mana, you really don't want to be using that. I mean, this is fine. But it's also slow because it's when it dies and it can get silenced before that. Not that you probably would silence that because it's only a 4 additional damage. I think this card is trash. Wait, hold on. Does it have mech tag? No, it doesn't. So it's actually trash. If this had mech tag, it might be balanced at best, but because it doesn't, it's going there. Magister's Apprentice. Your arcane spells cost 1 less. I'm going to put this in the trash as well. 2 mana, 3/2 is about right for a stat line. But the problem is that unlike the way you have to build Death Knight decks, apparently you can't. I don't honestly think you can specifically. My model has stopped moving. What the fuck? Hey bitch, wake up. Yeah, that's better. Yeah, like there's also frost and flame spells. So I think this card is bad, just because it only relies on one specific type of spell. I could be wrong. Okay, seems I'm good. I'm back for good this time. Nice. Welcome back for good. Let's see. Okay, this is the other one. Arcane Worm. Add an Arcane Bolt to your hand. I honestly think this one's significantly better than that 3-drop. I would say this card is objectively good. 1-drops are usually very good. Like basically if there's a 0 or 1-drop, usually they're pretty good. 1 mana or 1/2 is a pretty good stat line because that trades with any 1/1. But also it gives you a 1 mana spell that deals 2 damage. Vexillus. 5 mana 3/5, your arcane spells cast twice. I don't think this is going to be meta defining. I think I'll probably say that at best this card is objectively good. I mean, I'm trying to think of like the best case scenario for this card, but I can't think of one specifically. I could be wrong. 8 mana Arcane Defenders. Summon 2/5/6 golems with taunt and can't be targeted by spells or hero powers. That is inherently broken. The last, what's that? I think it's Free from Amber. Is that what it is? Which discovers an 8 cost and summons it. There is another card that, hold on. Discover a minion that costs 6 or less. Let me see if I can do that. 6 or less. There is a card that searches that gives you a list of power creep cards. Worst cards, I'll save those for later. There is a card that gives you a 6 mana minion and summons it with Taunt and Divine Shield. But these are really hard to get rid of outside of like extreme AoE scenarios. At 8 mana, I think that's too good for what it is. So I'm gonna put that into overpowered. Blatantly overpowered. Arcane Bolt. Okay, we've seen this. This is a 1 mana deal 2. You're probably not going to use it there. I'm going to put this in the bin. On its own, I think this card is bad. It's good if it's generated by this. I just don't think that 1 mana deal 2 is that good because Arcane Blast is a 1 mana deal 2 that's just a better card. 1 mana deal 3 after turn 8. No thank you. Right, that was Mage, so now I think we're on Paladin. Paladin, Daring Drake, Rush, Battlecry if you're holding a Dragon game 1/1. This is going to go into a gimmick deck. I want to build Dragon Paladin again. I used to love that deck so much. Having dragons with Rush is always, chef's kiss. Is there a statistical card? What do you mean? But also if you're holding a Dragon game 1/1, really, really useful. I'm going to put this into gimmicks. I don't think the Dragon Paladin will come back because of this card, but I do want to build a Dragon Paladin deck anyway, so I'm going to put it into gimmick potential. And it won't snap to the size. Discover a Dragon. Mana Thirst 7, summon a 5/5 Drake with Taunt. This is broken as fuck. I love this card so much. Discover a Dragon, it could be any dragon. Plus, if you cast it after turn 7, you also get a 5/5 with Taunt. That's incredible. I do love this. This is also going into gimmick. Like I said, Dragon Paladin probably won't come back just because of this expansion, but I do love the idea of a Dragon Paladin deck. Time Warden. Until the end of your next turn, dragons you summon gain Taunt and Divine Shield. I get a feeling. Right, so if I was designing this very specific card, I would have made it a legendary. And I would have reduced the cost to 3. You know, in case for a situation you need to make a statistical retreat. Alright. I will time you out. The problem is dragons are generally very high-costed creatures. There are very, very few that are 1 or 2, and obviously you have to have them all in your hand at the right time for it as well. So I think this card is fun and good, but I know you won't. But at the same time, I don't like. I want to put it in. This is a bad card overall, because if you can count the cost of, you can count like 6 cost dragons very, very quickly, even for their own class. But at the same time, like, it just depends on when you summon it. I feel like it's too weak. Like, you could give this could be a 1 mana 2/1, which means it would immediately die. But at the same time, if it was 1 mana 2/1, at least you could play a 9-drop dragon with it to make it worth having. In a state it's currently in, it's kind of too high costed for what it wants to do. But I genuinely do love the idea of it. Ah, an Akranos. Send other minions 2 turns into the future. So one of my favourite heroes, like alternate secondary heroes, is, I think it's Reno the Relicologist. And it is here, no, Reno, hero. The Amazing Reno, this is it. And when you, damn it, hold on. The Amazing Reno images. Battle cry, make all minions disappear. Poof. So basically it just removes all minions on the board with, I believe it also silences them, which is hilarious. But this is also very good because this is insane removal. I really like this card. Like, I can see a world where this is played even in not dragon decks, just to secure a win. I won't put it in meta defining. I want to put it in objectively good, but again, I think it's balanced because it's a legendary, but gimmick potential 100%. I'm building a Dragon Paladin deck. I will dust whatever I have to do that. 1 mana, give your hero 3 attack this turn. Mana first. 4 also against lifesteal. Top left is the cost, right and down right is the health. Yeah, so a half turn card is made up of the cost, which is you start at 1 and you gain 1 each turn, and you can cast cards up to how many mana crystals you have. This is the attack, which is how much damage it deals to things, and this is the health, as in how much damage it can take before it dies. For spells, they don't have those, but they do have a cost. Although we're going to see one soon that doesn't have a cost, and that will be hard to explain. So, I think this is generally bad. Give your hero +3 attack. I don't think it will see play, if I'm perfectly honest. It just seems to... It just doesn't seem to fit into any established sort of stuff. Oh, pardon me. God, who would have thought that talking for an hour and a half straight would be so tough on my voice? Seal of Blood. Give a minion +3/+3 in Divine Shield. Deal 3 damage to your hero. This is a perfect example of a balanced card. It buffs your minion, it gives it a buff, but also it deals damage to your face. They have... Paladin also does have a 1-drop weapon. Bloodthorn? Probably not, apparently. I'll just search 1 mana weapon. Apparently not. Okay, so why don't I just open Hearthstone? That'll do. Play. Hydrate, thank you. I will hydrate again, actually. I need to refill these later. I suppose tomorrow at this point. I've just made my own life harder by opening this. Okay, I'll come back to that. So, yes. Crafting, Paladin. Where is it? Paladin has a Blood Claw. I was close. How dare you, bastard? How dare you? So yeah, there's a 1 mana 2/2 that deals 2 damage. It deals 5 damage to your face. So you'll have 2 swings with 2 damage for 1, and that's insane, basically. And it's counterbalanced by the fact it deals 5 damage to your face. The card we were just looking at, which has now fucking disappeared. Uh-oh, I've got 2 things open. That's why. It is really, really good. I would agree that this card is insane. And now I won't be able to find it. Oh no, there it is. That's the right one, isn't it? Yes. I'm going to say this card is incredibly balanced. There's nothing inherently unfair about it. Like, obviously you'll feel bad about somebody playing that against you and then them like walloping you in the face. But at the same time, they're paying a soul to get it. 1 mana, 2/1. Sanguine Soldier. Divine Shield, Battlecry, deal 2 damage to your hero. That's really, really bad. Paladin has 2 1 mana 1/1s that both have Divine Shield. One also has Taunt. This is just a generally bad card. Unless there's some good reason to be dealing damage to your own face. I can't imagine, however. Vokeltalas. 2 mana. Give a friendly minion 3 attack, give your hero 2 attack. The problem is, right, is they made this huge deal about class identity when they removed a lot of the Shadow Priest stuff in the very early days of Hearthstone. And now they're doing it again. This doesn't really do much. It's not what Paladin does. I also don't think this will see play. Bye, bitch. Right, 6 mana Blood Crusader. Your next Paladin minion this turn costs health instead of mana. This, on the other hand, is insane. I absolutely approve of this card. 6 mana 5/5 epic. There is a Warlock card that is currently banned. Like, as in you're not even allowed to use it in Wild. At least I think that's how that works. That any minion you summon costs health instead of mana. And obviously that's really powerful because you're using a resource that isn't your mana crystals to play cards. This is only specific to minions, so you could arguably do Tyrian Fordring, pay 8 health to summon Tyrian Fordring, which is really fucking powerful. And also have a 5/5 on board. I'm going to put this in the perfectly balanced. I almost want to put it in objectively good. Actually, yeah, I will put it in objectively good, because it is. Okay, Blood Matriarch Liadrin. After you summon a minion with less attack than this, give it Divine Shield and Rush. Okay, now that's interesting for a 2 mana card. Because, how is it insane? Okay, so, let me bring it back up. So, Blood Crusader, right? So you're paying 6 mana. Right, now usually you can only summon what you've got with your mana crystals, which are a very finite resource. Usually you can only have a maximum of 10. So at the point you've played this, you can only summon a 4-drop, which is obviously not that good. However, if we go to the highest cost Paladin stuff, for example Tyrian Fordring here, which is a Taunt Divine Shield. When it dies, equip a 5/3 weapon. Or Ragnaros the Light Lord. At the end of your turn, restore 8 health to a friendly character. Or Nazari. Actually, that's a really bad example. You could kill yourself immediately by summoning Shivala the Tiger. That'd be funny, actually. I imagine somebody doing that, but I'd probably do that just for a meme. What was it called? Blood Crusader into Shivala the Tiger to deal 25 damage to your own face. Even then, though, you get the 7 health back, so... But yeah, basically allows you to summon a 5/5 that's already not bad stats, plus... I imagine it'll only be used for one of these 2 cards. Or something similar to that, but then, like, when you look at you're paying 8 health to get this, that's not that bad, realistically. It's just a really, it's more an interesting effect that you don't see all that often. This is really cool. I believe this Divine Shield and Rush will be applied to all of your Silverhand recruits. If that's the case, I will definitely be rebuilding a Lothraxi in the Redeem deck, because I can see this being... Actually, no, this is another gimmick. I was about to say meta-defining, but games aren't won on minions with less than 3 attack, generally. Right, so that's a Paladin. Now for Priest. Shadowwood Undeath. Deal 2 damage to all enemies. If a friendly undead died after your last turn, deal 2 more. So it's a 5 mana Chaos Nova, which is about right. Worst case scenario, it's a 5 mana Blizzard that doesn't freeze. Is that Blast Wave? What does Blast Wave do? Let me check. Whoops. I think Blast Wave is deal 2 damage. Obviously, it requires deal 2 damage to all minions. Yeah. So yeah, this is an objectively better Blast Wave. It's if a friendly undead died. Now, this is where this kind of thing really should be used a lot more often, because Priest is the class that deals with Resurrection. Yeah, but I wouldn't say it's insane because it deals damage to you, but then I've never played, so probably that's why. It's I would say it's more, yeah, it's definitely, I would definitely say it's probably just like lack of actually having played it. But when there's a sort of thing that goes around in Hearthstone since the very start of the game, which is that the only amount of health that matters is the difference between 1 and 0. So if you can afford to play a Tyrian Fordring, then you really should, because obviously it's giving you additional board advantage that you wouldn't have otherwise had. And even if you're spending 8 health to do it and you only had 9 to start with, you're still getting a really big board presence that's going to not be easy to get rid of. It really is about resources. It's really hard to explain, but I hope that I haven't completely fucked that up. So yeah, I'm going to put this in Blatant Power Creep. Hold on, what's the cost for Blast Wave? I think it's... Actually, it's not really Power Creep, it's just balanced. Although I might put this in Power Creep because Undead is, again, going to be really important. So, and it's not going to be hard to kill a bunch of, like, really small minions in order to trigger that. I'll put that here. Okay, Undyed and Allies. After you play an Undead, give it Reborn. Okay, now that's meta-defining. Because, number one, so every 0 cost card in all of Hearthstone history has seen play in at least one meta deck of their own class. This, in a format that's going to be very reliant on your ability to play undead minions, it's going to be crazy because Reborn is an ability that when your minion dies, it returns to life with 1 health. And obviously, since you're getting these corpse points or whatever, this is really powerful. I think that if there's an undead priest deck, this is going to be the focal point of it. You'll be hard mulliganing to get it, because that is just wildly powerful, basically. Mind Eater. Add a copy of a card in your opponent's deck to your hand. This will sadly see play, and I know exactly what kind of decks it will see play in. The same decks that run Archbishop Benedictus to copy your opponent's entire deck. Decks that run Thought Steal and Mind Vision, the stuff that is like a Randuin Wren, basically. I will... Hold on. There's a video that Total Biscuit made about a gimmick deck he made called Randuin Wren. Or it's What's Yours Is Mine. Let me just check. Which is where it's just stealing all your opponent's cards. Total Biscuit. Yours is mine. Okay, there is a gimmick deck somewhere that I'll find another time. But yeah, basically it's a deck full of stuff like this. Like there's MC Tech and all that kind of trash. But yeah, I can see this being used. It's just crap. So I'm going to still put it in trash, even though I can see it being played. Hold on. There. Right, next one. Animate Dead. Resurrect a friendly minion that costs 3 or less. Let me check. Do I... Big Res... Renathal... Okay, so I personally... Yeah, it's the Communist Russia deck. In Communist Russia, your cards are my cards. Resurrect a friendly minion that costs 3 or less. Now, I personally won't run this. Actually, saying that, I fucking will. Won't I? Because even if it doesn't work in that deck, it will work really well in Elwyn Boar. Because this is a 1 mana. Yeah, I can see that being run. Yeah, I can absolutely see this being run. This is wild. Resurrect a friendly minion that costs 3 or less. That is really good. A lot of their minion pool is very low. I'm going to put this into gimmicks though, because the Elwyn Boar deck is not a real deck. It's just a gimmick. Bone Crawler. 4 mana 2/4 with Taunt. Resurrect a friendly undead that died this game. I'm going to call this one highly situational but balanced. Obviously it will need to die because it's a taunt. And the ability to resurrect an undead that died this game, which is again, big deal, is I think going to be a really important matter. So I'm going to put this in balanced because it doesn't do anything inherently super overpowered. Although saying that, if you merge it with Undying Allies, oh no, that's only this turn, so, and this will usually die during your opponent's. Although saying that, you could, if this survives the turn, and then next turn you play this, run that into that, and then whatever it summons is, yeah, that could work. Haunting Nightmare. Death Rattle. Haunt a card in your hand. When you play it, summon a 3/3 soldier. So, I'm guessing what this means is a card in your hand gets a battle cry of also summon a 3/3 on summon. I think. That's just my guess. I'm going to say this card is... Oh no, that's Death Rattle. I'm going to say this is trash because I can't see a specific use for it. Like, it's an interesting concept, but I just don't see it being used in any, like, priest deck, basically. Gravedigging. Draw 2 cards. Cost 1 if a friendly undead died on your after your last turn. 4 mana, draw 2. Yeah, I can see the argument for that. If an undead died, it will cost 1. So the closest card that I'm going to compare this to is Vendetta from Rogue. If I go back to here, I think it's Vendetta. I'm pretty sure it was because it was a version of Rogue that was used for a while. It was like a whole deck. Yeah, deal 4 damage to a minion, costs nothing if you're holding a card from another class, which you usually would be. So I'm going to compare this directly to this. I'm going to say that this card is really, really good. And actually, it might be meta defining. I can imagine decks entirely built around the concept of this. I can imagine a draw 4 because a card died that costs 1. Draw 2 that costs 1 being really overpowered. High Cultist Basilef. Resurrect all friendly undead that died after your last turn. I'm going to put this in bad. There's a good reason for this, is that Kel'Thuzad and Tribunal Muerte exist. Obviously they're not in standard. But actually, you know what? I'm going to put this in balanced or objective. I think maybe objectively good. Oh, hold on. We have synergy, don't we? Where's that 0 cost? No, not you. This is synergy. So if you play these two in the same turn, that's insane. So you get back a bunch of minions and they all have reborn. I can see that being a really, really good. I wouldn't say meta-defining combo, but I would say that it is there is potential there for a really, really broken combo. Objectively huge. Right, what's next? 1 mana Crystalsmith Cultist. If you're holding a shadow spell, gain +1/+1. Again, 1 mana 1/2, really good stat line. If it's a 1 mana 2/3, let me pull up. Actually, it's easier if I just do it through actually Hearthstone, isn't it? Crafting, dragon, spelled dragon wrong. Twilight Whelp, there you go. Battlecry, if you're holding a dragon, gain 2 health, so it becomes a 1 mana 2/3. Extremely balanced, because obviously you have to be holding a dragon. In the case of this card, you could start the game with it in your hand, and that's obviously great because it's 1 mana 1/2. If you're not holding a shadow spell, you still get a good card. in the 1 mana one too, so that's not too bad. No, I wanted to drag it next, thank you. So I'll put this in balance because it's a good stat line. Actually, no, objectively good because it's an objectively good stat line. And our other legendary, Sister Svalna. Hey, it's a Valkyrie. Yeah, I can see how big a combo. Permanently add a Vision of Darkness to your hand. I do like Valkyrie cards in Hearthstone. There aren't enough. They're not actually Valkyries. They're called Valkyr. But I still love the Valkyries. Like you've seen my warrior deck, which has Anhild as my hero. What is a Vision of Darkness? Let me see. So we want Sister Svalna. Right, so this is a... Oh, okay, so permanently adds a Vision of Darkness to your hand, which is a 3 mana spell that adds... Huh? What does it mean by permanently adds? That doesn't make sense. Damn, that artwork though. She's thick. Look at her size. I don't understand how this works. How can you permanently add that? Interesting, but whatever, I suppose. Anyway. I'm going to put this into... I suppose... Where the fuck do I put this? Yeah, Valkyries are amazing. Like, there's almost nothing better in fiction. See, the problem is this probably isn't a good card, but I'm going to put it in Gimmick. Because I want to use it with other Valkyr, but I can't see it being used in any other way. In any categories, if you know what I mean. Yeah. Okay, so I'm Rogue. Ghostly Strike, deal 1 damage, draw a card. Okay, that's just blatantly overpowered. 1 damage is not overpowered, the draw a card for 1 mana is. Generally, even... Let me see what the lowest cost draw card is. Oh wait, Death Knight card's already in? Okay, interesting. Oh yeah, I can't craft them yet. So the cheapest one is, you've got Consume, but it has to be Outcast, draw a specific card, draw a specific card if something happened at the start of your next turn. Okay, and then if you have the mana to play the card, no. So yeah, basically draw is quite expensive. This is probably the best draw card in the whole game, because it also destroys stealth. Then again, barely anything uses stealth nowadays, so it's kind of trash. Nope. Nope. Mage doesn't have anything that does it. Choose a minion whenever it attacks, draw a card. That's that thing has to attack. Gifted Naru. Okay, that's probably about as good. But yeah, like, basically this is really powerful, and it's very, very cheap. Rogue does a lot of combo stuff, and that's like being able to draw a card in the middle of a combo is really, really powerful. Battle Cry, add a random concoction to your hand. What are concoctions? What are you? Okay, just concoctor. Concoctor. What are the concoctions? Deal 3 damage, add another 1 to your hand. Destroy a random enemy minion. Okay, well these are just overpowered as fuck then, aren't they? Draw 2 cards, add a card from your hand from another class. Bloody hell. Okay, this is... I don't like these at all. Because obviously, you can, like, this is... I'm going to put this in overpowered. Because even though the concoctions are 3 mana spells, I'm guessing there's going to be a lot more ways to generate them. Discover 2. There you go. Yep. Blatantly overpowered. Like, any two of those effects for 3 mana is just too cheap for what they do. Like, destroy 2 minions for 3 mana. Like, normally for that, like the closest you get to that, destroying 2 minions, is Cascading Disaster. But that requires to be corrupted twice. It requires to be corrupted, which means you have to play a spell that costs a card that costs 5 or more in order to get that. That's cheap and also just stupidly overpowered. Your next concoction costs 0. So yeah, I can see this being a meta-defining deck. This whole thing, this concoction thing, this is going to be the rogue deck. I'm going to put this up in here because that's probably one of the main cards in that deck. I'm wondering if their legendary has anything to do with it. At the end of your turn, add a random 1 to your hand. Bloody hell. Everything in this is really powerful. And, like, so far, I don't think we've seen a rogue card that won't see play. Or it is trash, basically. After a minion dies, add a concoction to your hand. Come on. Just give rogue, like, one fucking shit card, please. Just balance it out a little. Death Rattle. Add a 4/4 copy of another Death Rattle minion in your deck to your hand. Okay, this is actually trash. Because the only Death Rattle rogue that I know about was Necrium Priest. And that was exclusively used to add King's Bane to your hand. You got one shit card. That makes me feel better about everything. I suppose obviously I will be playing concoctions. I don't know what death rattles they have that are going to be really all that useful to them, but I think that even though there are death rattles here, I think they're going to get overshadowed by the concoction rogue. Yeah, that's 4 mana, 2/5, poisonous, battle cry. For friendly undead die, deal 1 damage. That's kind of trash. Like, as in really, really trash, because, like, even though it has poisonous and a lot of health, each time you cast a spell, transform this into a copy of it. I'm going to put this into Gimmick. I don't think this is a real deck. It's not a gimmick I would build, but I get the feeling this is the kind of thing where it will be part of a... I'm going to put it in objectively good, actually. It will be part of a combo or a set of combos, but I don't know what they are yet. Bloody hell. Right. 4 mana, draw 2 minions. For each that costs 5 or more, summon a spirit, a 2-wolf spirit with taunt. This is actually really, really good. Like, in my totem deck, if I played it and I didn't get a 5-drop, it's still 2 minions. Whereas, like, if you draw a 5-drop, you do get a token. I'm going to put this as... 4 mana for draw 2 is pretty good. The Spirit Wolves are worth about 1 mana because they're tokens. Although saying that, I'm probably going to put it in objectively good because if it was balanced, it would also overload you. Although they seem to have been moving away from overload. Summon a copy of each minion in your hand. They attack random enemy minions, then die. So there must be some kind of Death Rattle synergy going on in this set. I can't imagine what this would be used for otherwise. Let me see. Death Rattle. Death Rattle. Okay, I see. Yeah, there is actually quite a lot of Death Rattles. So I can imagine this being very, very useful. The problem is it's a 10 cost, so it's kind of really hard to make that work. I'm going to put this into objectively. No. I think this is going to be a meta-defining. I think there will be a Death Rattle Shaman deck. It just depends on what the rest do to make it extra worth it. Taunt, Lifesteal, Reborn, Death Rattle. Deal 3 damage to a random enemy. 3/8 with Taunt for for 8. How much does Lucari Fellhound cost exactly? 4. You have to discard 2 to play it. Still, that's really, really bad stats. It has Lifesteal and Reborn, so it also comes back as a 3-1, which doesn't really mean anything. And when it dies, it deals 3 damage to a random enemy. Even for the Death Rattle Shaman, I think this card is bad. I think there's just too much going on, like too high a mana cost. I don't think it will see play in that deck. Overlord Jokaru. Rush Wind Fury. After this attacks and kills a minion, resurrect it on your side. This is broken as fuck. So if your opponent has 2 minions with less than 6 health, and less than 8 attack obviously, you get 2 of their minions for free. That is going in blatantly overpowered. I don't think it's going to be in any like specific Shaman deck. I think it will just be played in generic Shaman decks because it's just generically good. Taunt, Death Rattle. Summon a 6/6 undead with Taunt, so you're paying 5 to front load 8/8 of stats. This is objectively good. There are lots of cards that do what this does, but this one is giving you 8/8 in Taunts for 5, which is really, really good. Okay, Scourge Troll. Death Rattle's given to this minion triggered twice. I haven't seen a way to give it anything Death Rattled yet. Let me see. Death Rattle damage to a random enemy. Rock Gill. Give your other minions Death Rattle. Give a minion Death Rattle. Okay, so there are plenty of ways to give Death Rattle. Again, objectively good because 1 mana 1/3. I'm going to put this in. I reckon that this is going to be one of those cards that in the Death Rattle Shaman deck, if you don't open it, you'll probably lose, but if you do open it, you'll probably win. So it's an objectively good card. So, actually, it depends on how far into the game you get, I suppose. Okay. I think this is probably not as good as they could have. I'm sure this is not as good as they think it is. Deal 3 damage to a random what minion? Enemy. Okay. If it was just minion, that would be bad. But I'm going to put this on balance because it's 3 mana. Also, they're giving Shaman Shadow spells now. That's very, very interesting. This is going into my Murloc deck. Give your other minions Death Rattle, give your minions +1/+1. This is very, very good. But also a card that will be seen in a lot of decks because it can work in Murlocs and Undead. It won't be meta defining because Murlocs are mostly a gimmick and fall off once you hit plat. Give a minion Death Rattle, summon 3/2 zombies. Ah, there's the Overload. So with this, we need to look again at our 1-drop. Death Rattle is triggered twice. It will summon 4 3/2 zombies. I think that's insane. I like that. So we're going to put this into... You see, this is one of those cards that is normally balanced because obviously you have to front load the cost of its effect, but it becomes objectively good if on that, and specifically in that case only. Unliving Champion. If a friendly undead died after your last turn, summon 2 3/2 zombies. I think this is... You see, that's the thing, is I'm extremely interested in this kind of effect, but the problem is that we don't know how much undead are actually going to... what kind of impact undead is actually going to have on the metagame. If it will at all, because most of their effects are really slow. You can just not kill things and then just go straight for face. I think it's going to be a very aggro-based meta for quite a while to come, since stuff like Pirate Warrior is still relevant. Note to self, I'm going to uninstall Zoom from this PC again. Probably a good idea. But at the same time, yeah, I really don't know. I suppose it all depends on how good or what the corpse tokens do, because I haven't seen anything that specifically uses those in a way that's broken yet. So I'm going to put this in balance and leave it there, because I don't actually know. Oh, we've done that. Okay, Warlock. My favourite class. Just hope they've got some decent stuff. Resurrect a friendly undead, give it reborn. 6 mana, 4/4. For a common, that is extremely powerful. Yeah, I'll put that into. I'll put that in balanced. I don't think Warlock are gonna have. I really hope Warlocks don't get a bad serving, because they've had some really shit stuff over the years. Shadowgrave, trigger a friendly minion's death rattle, then destroy it. Damn. So for context, for conquest, if we go to the death rattles, we can look at stuff like, well, obviously not the small shit. Fuck the small shit. Voidwalker. Put a random demon from your hand into the battleground. It does that twice. Your opponent discards a minion. No, that's kind of bad. We're looking at stuff like this, for example. So, like, you get 2 5/5s with lifesteal, or you can do Rin, the first disciple. What's like the big neutral death rattles? Deal 8 damage. Restore 8 health to your hero. Gain 8 armor. Summon a random 7 cost. I can see this. I can honestly see. Where's the card gone? I can honestly see this being really, really powerful, especially for 2 cost, and especially because of Moarg Forge Fiend. I reckon this is going to be the meta-defining card, in that it will define how Warlock plays that specific deck. Twisted to have a destroy minion, give it stats to a random undead in your hand. I'm going to put that as balanced, because obviously you're losing a minion on the board that you paid mana to summon, in order to give it to an undead in your hand, which is obviously a slightly better scenario, unless of course it's also an undead. Dark Andrathir. Lifesteal, good. The end of your turn deals 6 damage to the enemy hero. Fucking hell. What the hell? So it's lifesteal and deals 6 damage to your opponent's face. So you're dealing them 6 damage and also healing for 6 damage. That's insane. And it's also got a pretty decent stat line as well. I'm going to put this card into objectively good. Actually, blatantly overpowered. Like, that's insane. 8 mana. Like, so the minimum you're doing is dealing 6 damage, which again, 4 cost for Fireball, and healing for 6, which is Healing Touch from Druid, which is 3 cost, for 8 mana. That's really, really powerful. And it has the Undead tag as well. Devourer of Souls, after a friendly mountain. Oh, I guess everything has to have a shit card. After a friendly minion dies, gains death rattle. There is probably a use case scenario for this card, but I honestly think this is the worst card that Warlock has gotten. Also Booba. Yeah, okay. Amorphous Slime, discard a random undead, death rattle, summon a copy of it. I think this is bad. There is Carnivorous Cube. Let me bring that up. Cube. Which is destroy a minion and summon 2 copies of it. This is just like an objectively worse version of that. For context, I said I wanted to have Zoom in installed on this computer because I didn't buy it for running that program. Ah, that makes sense. If it was just discard a random card and then summon a copy of it when this dies, I might be fine. It has no protection. It has no protection from being discarded itself. Like, if it was discarded, you can summon it. But I think this is I mean, there's probably a use case scenario for it, but I'm gonna have to put it in the bin. I don't see it as being a part of like this main Warlock strategy that I see. Meanwhile, 5 mana, 7/7, rush, discard 2 cards. Okay, so to compare this, what we need to bring up is the Doom Guard, a card that came out in the very first set. There you go. Charge, battle cry, discard 2 random cards. This is objectively worse than that. While it has 2 additional attacks, it can't hit face. Which is a shame, because it looks cool. Beard having motherfucker. But yeah, sadly this is a bad card. Discarding... I mean, again, there are cards that have discard synergy. But it's the rush and not charge. If it had charge, it would be broken. Soul Barrage. When you play the or discard this, deal 6 damage randomly split among all enemies. Okay, so for this we need to have a look at Fist of Jaraxxus, which is a 4 mana. When you play or discard it, deal 4 damage to 1 random enemy, and this splits that damage. I'd say this is a balanced card. Yeah, I mean you can play it of course if you want as doing that much in damage, but I'd say it's just balanced. It's basically it's 5 mana for 6 damage, randomly split, which actually makes it bad. Okay, Scourge Supply, draw 3 cards, choose 1 to discard. That's incredible. Even if you have to discard 1, like you're still basically drawing 2 for 3, for 3 mana, which is Arcane Intellect. I'm going to put that in objectively good. Walking Dead, Taunt. If you discard this minion, summon it. Yep. This is same as... I think it's Silverware Golem. Yeah, Silverware Golem. Same thing. It's just this has Taunt and significantly better stats, so I'm going to call this Power Creep. Because it has 1 less attack but 2 more health and Taunt. Right, now we're on to Warrior, and then all we've got left is the neutrals. Okay, first card, Light the Phoenix. Draw 2 cards, cost 1 less for each damage friendly character. Worst case scenario, this is always going to cost 3, and 3 mana draw 2 is basically correct. Best case scenario, it can cost 0. I'm going to say this is balanced, since like by turn 4 you definitely would have taken at least some face damage, and characters count for that. And face damage counts as that as well. Right, Blazing Power. Give a minion 1/1, repeat for each damage friendly character. Again, this works in the same way as Light the Phoenix, in that the minimum you're ever going to be giving a minion is 2/2, not 1/1. So 2/2 for 2, yeah, I'd say that's balanced. I think Warrior's going to get another very balanced step. They usually do. Sunfire Smithing, equip a 4/2 sword, give a random minion in your hand +4/+2. Jesus Christ. That is really good. Especially like, you've seen me play the Blade Fist as no master before. Kargath Blade Fist. Imagine that as an 8/6 before. So you play this turn 4, this turn 5. That ain't gonna. That's gonna run something over. Alternatively, you wait until later, you put it on Kargath Prime, and then it's a 14/12, which is even harder to get rid of. I love the idea of this card. I think I'm putting this in balance just because it's too actually no, this is objectively good. Because not only are you getting 4/2 as a weapon, you're also getting 4/2 of stats. Sun Fury Champion, after you cast a fire spell. Fire spell. They do have fire spells apparently. Okay, well that's from this set anyway. Oh, I've actually seen this card. Why can't I craft or uncraft that? First, because it's too high cost. Yeah, I can see they're putting fire on some of their stuff. There's some fire smithing. Oh, that must be the legendary that I haven't looked at yet. Okay, so what was the deal with it? After you cast it, I'm going to put that as a no. I don't think the 1 damage to all minions is really that good. Like, obviously it does proc the damage thing. Actually... So what, we're looking at a Whirlwind, which is a 1 mana deal 1 to all minions spell. With a 1/3 body on it. Now 1/3 as a body is worth 1 mana because... Oh god, that is really good actually. I'm going to put it in balance because I think this is one of the cards that gets better the more minions are on the board. And it's only really good because there are other cards that benefit from the way it works. 3 below. Rush, Death Rattle, go dormant, cast a fire spell to revive it. Revives 2 times. What does that mean? I guess that means you can only revive it twice, but if it goes dormant, then I don't know. That's pretty good though. I mean, that's basically on par with Kargath. That's a 4 mana 4/4 with Rush that comes back. So yeah, I'm going to put that in. I don't think I can put it in objectively good. Actually, I can. Of course I can. 4 mana 4/4 that comes back. I mean, obviously you need a specific setup for it, but still, that setup is not that difficult. Last stand, draw a taunt minion, double its stats. Taunt. I mean, you don't even really need to just look at these taunts. Let's see what the biggest taunt in this deck is. Probably Tomb Warden, right? Yep, Tomb Warden. So that'll become 2 6/12s. What is it? Hold on. Or a taunt minion. What's the worst case scenario in this deck? Taunt. I think it's just Ziliax in here. A 6/4 Ziliax with magnetic. Oh god. Okay, that card is insane. I love this card. Last stand. Like, I mean, I could craft Tomb Wardens and get 2 6/12s that have taunt for like combined 12 mana, but that's fucking really good. I do like that. That's objectively good. But also, in previous sets, you have where is Armageddon? Which I don't have, so it'd be here. Armageddon. The end of your turn, give all taunt minions in your hand +2/+2, because there used to be a taunt warrior deck that was a really big deal. So yeah, that is a good card. I've decided I'll just install it on lower end Acer, like not a Nitro Predator, just in Aspire, maybe a Veriton. Yeah, I'll go with Aspire if you want stability. You'll never have a single problem finding parts. Okay, let's go with Disruptive Spell Breaker. At the end of your turn, your opponent discards a spell. Wow. Okay, that's I don't know. That's really wicked. That's really weird. Like, is there a use case scenario for this card? I'm not entirely sure. It's interesting, and its stat line is crap. But especially for an epic, that should be a 5 mana 5/5 for that. I don't know, like, it's not actually bad though, because a lot of decks use spell, like basically everything uses spells. I'm gonna put it in balanced because it's not bad. That's the thing, is it's not trash. I can see that being used. Okay, Asphodon, the Grand Shield. Cast a copy of the last spell your opponent played. against the current big mage decks, which run exclusively Drakefire Amulet and hold on, what's the other one? Drakefire Amulet and Rune of the Archmage. Yeah, like that would be a good card to keep in hand for like one of those kind of matchups. I would say it highly depends. I'm going to put this in good, but I'd say it's like balanced, but because it's only good depending on what you're playing against. It's one of those things that gets better the better that your opponent is, realistically. Because if your opponent's playing crap, then obviously you're not going to copy a good spell, but like you can even copy a swipe off of it, which is good. Members of Strength. Summon 2/1/2 guards with Taunt. If you cast it after you have 6 mana, they are 2/2/4s. I mean, summoning 2/4 of stats with Taunt to keep somebody off your face for 2 mana is already good. Plus, I really like that artwork. We're going to put this into... I'm going to put this in balanced. There's nothing inherently that good about it, except for the fact of what it does. But it's not like broken or anything. Silver Fury Stalwart, 6 mana, 4/8 with Taunt and Rush, and can't be targeted by spells and hero powers. God damn, that makes that really hard to get rid of. Like, because it has Taunt and it has an 8 health. So normally you'd remove something with more health like this with the help of a spell. But if you can't directly target it, then it's inherently harder to get rid of by definition. I'm going to put that in... I put that in objectively good. Also, this is insane because it's a common, which makes it easier to get. So, like, and being able to get hold of stuff like that is really good. Right, finally, the neutrals. Boneflinger. If a friendly undead died after your last turn, deal 2 damage as a battle cry. I'm gonna put this in balanced. It doesn't do anything that's like super powerful, and it's another one of those cases where an undead has to die before it gets a good effect. I mean, 2 mana, deal 2 damage on a 2/3 body isn't completely unheard of. I suppose undead tag gives it a little bit of an edge. Yeah, balanced. Still going balanced. Right, Plague Spreader, Death Rattle. Transform a random minion in your opponent's hand into one of these. I can see a lot of really annoying plays coming out of this. Because when it dies, if you have got a good hand, you're basically replacing a minion in your hand with this. And then obviously that keeps going back and forward. I think this is going to be a gimmick. I don't think this is going to go into a real deck. But I can see a gimmick coming from it. Vrykul Necrolite. Give a friendly minion Death Rattle summon a 2/2 zombie with breath. Then obviously you run into something and it dies. Or your opponent kills the minion that got Death Rattle and then it dies. I'm going to put this in balanced. It's not like super powerful, but it has... I can see it being used in like... in undead decks. Nerubian Vizier. Battlecry. Discover a spell if the friendly undead died after your last turn. It costs 2 less. So you're discovering a spell, probably from your own class. I think I'm going to put that in objectively good. Like, because obviously getting a class spell and reducing its cost by 2 if an undead died, and that's not really that hard to achieve considering how small some of them are. Yeah, I think I'm going to put that in objectively good. I can't see a reason to put it in just balanced, because I'd say it's slightly higher than balanced. I'm really going to have to work on these tiers for next time. Tenacious Senlion. Whenever this attacks, deal 2 damage to the enemy hero with lifesteal. So it's basically a... What's that sword? True Silver Champion for Paladin. which is it has 4 attack, but you gain 2 health whenever you attack. I don't know, I feel like this would be better if it had rush or something. Because right now it's very, very slow. I think I'm going to just put this in balanced because the health is enough that it will keep it alive for the extra turn that you'll need. But I don't actually think it's good. Give a friendly undead reborn, that's amazing. Giving a minion reborn is something that priests can do for 1 mana, but that's because it's a class card. So in general, class cards can be costed lower because they're not like generic. I'm gonna put this in objectively good. Its stat line is good, and it gives something reborn, which is one of the better keywords to be able to give minions in this expansion. Incorporeal Corporal. After this attacks, destroy it. I'm just gonna say that's overpowered. 2 mana, hit your opponent in the face for 5. You could have put this as a 1 mana and it can't hit face, and then it would be crap. You could put this as a 2 mana, you can't hit face with it, and it would be fucking awful. I think it's overpowered because it exclusively on the argument that it can hit face, and you can put it down turn 2. Like turn 3, you're hitting your opponent in the face for 5. That's a big deal because that's like a 6 with their entire health. Arms dealer. After you summon an undead, give it +1 attack. I don't think this is good. I think this is not going to be a card that's played. They've been trying to. I feel like they've been trying to remake Undertaker for years, since Nax, and that's whenever you summon a minion with Death Rattle, gain 1/1, and this card was broken as fuck. Like if you played, I think specifically the Hunter variant of Death Rattles with this card, it was if you drew this card turn 1, you basically snowballed way out of control, and your opponent couldn't stop you, or you didn't draw it and it didn't matter because the rest of the deck was already good enough. This card is basically a very crap version of Undertaker, and for that it's going in the bin. I honestly don't think it will see play. Again, all of these are subjective. I could be wrong. I just don't see it. Oh, open over here. Shatter, Skin, Gargoyle, Taunt. Deal 4 damage to a random enemy when it dies. I mean, I'm trying to compare this to Aranasi. I think it's probably not a fair comparison to make. When you draw it, restore 4 health to your hero. This is like the direct opposite of that. But at the same time, I kind of feel like this is really bad for its cost. Like I think if you made this, I think if that was a 5 mana, it would be balanced. Because obviously you're front loading that 4 damage, but because it costs 6, I don't think it's going to see any play at all. I think it's just too high a cost for a taunt that does basically very little. If it's your opponent's turn, deal 3 damage when it dies. That is... So if your opponent kills it on their turn, it takes 5 damage, it deals 3 damage to something they control. It doesn't say specifically what, if it's a hero or a random enemy. I'm guessing to whatever killed it, maybe? If that's the case, then this is really good. If it's random, then it's slightly less good, but it's still pretty good anyway. Because it will always die. It will almost always die on your opponent's turn. But you could argue that you're doing 7 damage total with it regardless. So I think I'm going to put this in... I mean, if it was a 3/4, would it be better? think I'm going to put it in balance. I think it's too hard to put it in objectively good. Like, the stat line is good and the effect is good. But the problem is it's just because it doesn't specify exactly how it works. Infectious Ghoul. Death Rattle. Give a random friendly minion, summon another one of the... Jesus, fuck! So this is... Okay, we're going to compare this directly to Grey Bow. Probably the closest. I spelled that wrong. Oh no, I don't. I just don't own it. So Grey Bow is a Druid Legendary, which is 5 mana, 4/6 with Taunt. That is, give a friendly... When it dies, another minion gets the Death Rattle to resummon this guy. Whereas this is, when this dies, do the same thing, except this doesn't have Taunt. With that being a legendary, I think this counts as power creep. Because it costs the same, but it's got better... Actually, I don't think it has better stats. It has one less stat, but the distribution is different. I think I'll put it in objectively good, because it's like a never-dying minion. Unless they silence it, that's going to be very hard to get rid of. Flash Behemoth. Taunt. Draw another undead and summon a cop. Jesus fuck. I don't think I've seen silence bait as strong as this for a very long time. I'll say that much. I think... I'm going to put this in objectively good. Yeah. I think that's probably the best place for it. No, actually it's not. It's actually just overpowered. Because not only when it dies, you're drawing a card, which doesn't sound like much on its own, but it's summoning... it's drawing a specific type of card. And you're also summoning a copy of that specific card. Which, again, could be something tiny or it could be Alexandros. You know? Like, Foul Leg, summon a 3/3 undead chicken. I'm going to put this in good. Fuck, what's the egg? I'm going to put this in objectively good. All the eggs are pretty good in the right scenario. And there's lots of ways to proc them yourself. For example, just putting Taunt on them. Running AoE. Most of the eggs are pretty good. Umbral-Geist. Add a random shadow spell to your hand. Well, that's certainly an interesting idea. What classes use shadow spells? I know Warlock and now Shaman. Death Knight, oh, this is apparently a shadow spell. Okay. Mage has Book of Spectres and Puzzle Box. Yes, I want this so much. Priest has a really large... I think, yeah, Priest is probably second only to Warlock. Okay, yeah, I'm going to put this in objectively really good. Like, the stat line is perfect for something that's meant to die. Obviously, like, I can't put it in meta defining because I can't imagine attacks specifically revolving around a specific shadow spell that you random into, but it's still pretty good. Uh-oh, I'm morbing. Hold on. Allow me to restart my model. Cool. Banshee, give a random friendly undead +2/+1. No, this is trash. This won't see play. Reason being is because there are lots of things that do similar things to this, but usually, like, any kind of player who's been playing the game for more than 5 minutes will kill every other minion first. Except for the... Oh shit, I've just lost it, haven't I? Yeah, they'll kill every other minion first, or they'll just leave things that aren't undead on the board. I think this is like one of those... this card is a trap, basically. In a sense, it looks good on paper for newbies, but anybody who's been playing the game more than 10 minutes knows it's bad. Bone Lord, Frostwhisper. The rest of... all good. Okay. For the rest of the game, your first card each turn costs 0. You die in 3 turns. This is going to be one of those funny Major Domo Executus cards, isn't it? So, a while ago there was a card release called Major Domo Executus. Right, and what it does is when it dies, it replaces your hero Ragnaros the Firelord, which means your maximum health is 8, but your hero bit power becomes Die Insect, which is a 2 mana deal 8 damage. But it also means, because your hero has become Ragnaros the Firelord, it means you're probably going to die very, very quickly. This is very similar vein to that. Like, you get an extremely powerful ability out of it, but you die in 3 turns. I mean, here's the thing. I can imagine a gimmick deck. Hold on, let me, why am I looking up? That's better. I can imagine a gimmick that revolves around this, dying, and then, like, you casting, like, huge spells and shit at your opponent that kills them. But I think it's a joke more than anything. I don't think it's a real thing. I can only imagine it as a gimmick. Hawkstrider Rancher. After you play a minion, give it +1/1, and Death Rat will summon a 1/1. That's really fucking powerful. I'm gonna put that into objectively good. Its own stats are amazing, but again, it's one of those things where, like, if you can affect Silverhand recruits, that's insane. Coroner. Freeze an enemy minion, silence it first. I'm gonna put that in objectively good. Like, freeze is a 1 mana ability. Like, so you're looking at this stats wise, you're looking at a 2/2 for 2, which is fine, right? Freeze costs 1, silence also costs 1 if you count Earthshock. So basically you're getting roughly 4 mana worth of effects for 2. And a 2/2 body, which isn't that bad. So it's definitely not broken and it won't define the meta. But I will say that it is objectively a good card. Translocation Instructor, Battlecry, choose an enemy minion, swap it with a random one in their deck. Okay, that's that's a very interesting one, especially coming from a card that looks that much like Sylvanas. Again, this is a good card. Its stat line for cost is interesting, and its effect is really fucking cool. Unfortunately, I think it's only good. And it's closer to a gimmick, but it will see play because it's a rare that is it's like soft removal. No, it doesn't actually destroy the minion, but it does get it off the board. And you can just point it at whatever you want. And also it gets past things that are immune to spells and hero powers because it's a battle cry. Silvermoon Armourer, Rush, mana first 7, gain 2/2. I think this card is actually trash. I don't think this will see play. It's like, so a while ago there was a 4/9 release called Judicious Student? Judicious Junior. It's a 4/9 with lifesteal. Right, it looks good, right? 6 mana for a 4 with 9 health. Problem is that it can't attack on turn it's played. And even when it does attack, it's a 7 cost, which means 6 cost. So it's kind of a bit late to play it. I think this card is bad, and it should feel bad. Bloodied Knight. At the end of your turn, deal 2 damage to your hero. This isn't worth that stat line. If this costs 2, so bearing in mind, right? What is the? It's a neutral Ancient Watcher. There you go. This is what you actually get for 2 mana. A 4/5 that can't attack. You can still put Taunt on it, all that kind of stuff. But with this, if this was a 2-drop, it would be amazing. It would be exactly the right cost. At 3, it's just bad. Amber World, but if you're holding a dragon, deal 3 damage. Damn! That's really good. 3 mana, 3/3, and deal 3 damage in a gimmick deck. Damn! Gimmick. It's going in my gimmick deck, and it's a common. Oh man, I'm building Dragon Paladin. I can feel it in my bones. Whenever your opponent targets another minion with a spell, redirect it to this. Ooh. That's something we haven't ever seen before in Hearthstone. It's not blatantly overpowered, and it's definitely not meta-defining. You see, it's one of those things that I don't think we'll actually see use because it's so weird in how it works. I do like it though. I think I'm going to put it like, here's what I'm going to do. Right, this is probably the, I don't know if this is, I'm pretty sure this is probably the only card I'm going to put it for, is this. Because it is very balanced, its cost to ratio and effect is really good, but also it's an objectively good card in the sense that its ability is really powerful, but it's not on top of a stupidly huge card. So I don't know, but it definitely goes in one of these two sections. Crystal Broker, mana first 5, summon a random 3-drop, mana first 10, summon a random 8-drop instead. Interesting. I'm going to put this in... Mana first is kind of tough to evaluate. So this is... I'm just going to ignore the mana first 5 because you're never going to push for that one. If you just play it on its own, it's a 3 mana 3/2, which is bad. If you play it after you've got 10 mana, it summons an 8 cost. That doesn't help. 8 mana? That also doesn't help. Okay. I'm just going to try looking up just 8 drops. It's a neutral, correct? Correct. So we've got our Bone God Commander, Soul Sealer. No, we want ones without Battlecry, so this would be really good. Artificer Zymox. No Battlecry. Corfang Warlord would be insane, obviously, because of Rush. Hulking Overfiend, insane, because of Rush. Illidari Inquisitor. Okay, yeah, I can see, I can already see how good this card is. This is good. It's just a certain use case scenario, and you have to... It's just patience, basically. It's one of the Omega cards. There are a set of cards called that have Omega in their name that do extra things when you have 10 mana. And I'm basically just going to say that is an Omega card, effectively. And spell damage +2, Battlecry your spells, can't target heroes this turn. I mean, usually you'll just plonk this down on turns. I think this is more of a threat than anything else. I don't think this is a card that will seriously see play. Just because it's a 3 mana 2/2, which is very expensive. But that's the kind of card you combo with a bunch of things to kill on that turn. Enemy heroes take double damage during your turn. Damn. This is gonna go into that weird space with fucking this woman. I think, because it's just such a weird effect. Hold on. 3/3 for free, fine. Enemies minions take double damage during your turn. It makes them easier to get rid of. I'm going to put in objectively good, actually. Because it removes things quicker, which is the same sort of thing as Moog. Orchfiend? Moog. Moog Artificer, so all minions take double damage from spells. So yeah, it's basically, that costs 2, this costs 3. But that's also protecting your own minions. So yeah, I'll put that in objectively good. Hello? Astalor Bloodsworn. Add Astalor the Protector to your hand. Okay, what's that? We have problems. My hair is going to keep morbing. Add Astalor the Flamebringer to your hand. Mana first 4, deal 2 damage. Game 5. So this is a tri-tier card, so it does stuff over a couple of turns. You're just gonna have to put up with the hair. I do apologise. And then you get Astalor the Flamebringer. Deal 8 damage randomly split between all enemies. Deal 8 more. I like it. I think it's going to be a gimmick. I don't think it's a... actually, saying that, we can compare it directly to a law. No. Phoenix. Damn it, what's the card? Pyros, that's it. So yeah, this one is returns to your hand. When it dies, you return to your hand as a 6/6 that costs 6. So comparatively, it goes from a 2/2 to a 5/5/5, which is fine. And then after that, it becomes a, I believe it's a 10/10 that costs 10. So again, this one's slightly cheaper and it has extra effects. So actually, Astalor is going into. I'm going to put that in really good. It's very slow. Like, in the sense of how many turns it takes to complete it. But damn if that's not cool artwork as well. Scourge Raider. It's a meme. There always must be a Raider card. And they're always like 3 mana, 5/1s. Hold on, let me bring it up. So the first ever one was the Magma Raider, because of course, let's get the golden one, which is the 3 mana 5/1, universally considered to be a bad card because of its stat line. And then over the sets, they've given us Steel Raider, which can attack it can attack a minion on turn it's summoned. Divine Shield one. This is the new one. One with 2 health instead. One that copies another minion's health. The one with flipped. One with taunt. The Shadow Rager, which has stealth. There was also a Wax Rager, which I'm so glad they never put in the game. Wax Rager has resummoned this minion. Scourge Raider is just funny. Reborn, die. So basically, as soon as it's summoned, it becomes a 5/1 because it dies immediately. It's good. I'm just going to put this in gimmick. It's actually, I'm going to put it here actually because it's trash. In a sense, it will never see play, but it's funny trash. It's like throwing away a porno. Silvermoose Sentinel, taunt. So 3 mana 2/5. That's pretty good for 3 mana. Since the gold standard is Sendry and Shieldmaster, which is 4 mana 3/5 with taunt. But if you play it after you've got 8 mana, it also has. It's a 3 mana 4/7, which is the stats for Injured Blade Master with taunt and Divine Shield for 3. I can get behind that. I'm going to put that as a. Like, this won't see play, but I'm going to put it in balanced. Come on. Street Sweeper, deal 2 damage to all other minions. No, that's just trash. 4 mana for 2 damage AoE. It can proc your eggs. Actually, that's not terrible, I suppose. And your frenzies. I'm not going to put it in good though. I'm just going to put it in balanced. There is no use case scenario for it. It's just not a bad card. Invincible, the card we've all been waiting for this set. So this is compared directly with Bone Mare, which was considered to be the most annoying card in the entire game. Which is, it used to be give a minion 5/5 and taunt. Invincible completely ruins that because it's Battlecry Death Rattle, give a random friendly undead +5/+5 and taunt. So that's when it's played and when it dies. And then it's also got reborn, so it will die twice. So basically you're giving 15/15 of stats over the space of one card. Which is really good. I don't think it'll be meta. No, I don't think it'll be meta defining, but it will be. It's definitely power creep because Bone is like objectively definably better than Bone Mare. But it's still just an interesting card. Effective Peasant, 2/2, summoning Undead Peasant. I'm going to put that in balanced. Seeing as how that is very good stat line, and then it also gives you more stat lines. Law from Alpharon. Jesus Christ. Well, that's going to be meta defining. Double the stats of all minions in your deck. So this becomes a 14/14 for 7. Yeah, that's pretty fucking powerful. There will definitely be decks built around using this guy. I think that's one for each class, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. No. The Sunwell, which is a spell that you get just for playing the game, basically. Fill your hand with random spells. Costs 1 less for each other card in your hand. It's a good card. It's good, but it doesn't see a lot of play because it's really difficult to get your hand set up to provide for that. However, it is balanced because it only adds as many as you don't have in your hand. And finally, Sunfury Clergy. Restore 3 health to all friendly characters. Mana Thirst 6, restore 6 health instead with a 3 mana 2/4. And I'm going to put that into balanced. Actually, I'm going to put that in objectively good because there are a lot of classes that could use that, especially Priest. God, that's our entire grid. We've gone through 145 cards in the space of 2 hours and 47 minutes and 50 seconds. Guess I'm not making my overlays tonight. It's actually shocking out of how many cards there are in this set. How many of them are actually really good. Or how many are like not worth playing at all, basically. That's a very large bin pile there. Hi. Right, anyway, let's go find someone to raid. It's gotten to nearly midnight. So yeah, I'm going to find someone to raid. And then I'm going to go to sleep. I probably won't be on tomorrow. Just because I've done 2 streams today and I'm very tired and I want to recover and do I might stream the creation of my overlays, but I do not know. So we will wait and see. So we are going to raid. Okay, I've got 2 options here. Should I drop a raid on Bow as a 3rd option? Let me see. Hold on. Dice roll. So 1, 2 will be Biggs. 3, 4 will be Matty. 5, 6 will be Bow. Okay. Okay. So it is. Yeah. Like I'm not going to guarantee that I will or won't be on. It's just I need time to rest after streams, so but yeah, I will be back eventually. Okay. Thanks for the great time. Thank you for coming. Let's raid. Hold on. Fucking Twitch. Not YouTube. You know what? I'm gonna raid Bal. Assuming I can. Yeah. Oh, no. It's actually going through. Alright then. Bao is basically one of the... I'm pretty sure she's probably one of the biggest VTubers on the entire site. So, I'm surprised this is even allowed. But, thank you very much for coming, and I will be back maybe tomorrow, but definitely Thursday. Have a good evening, and I'll see you when I'm back.